midnight fare. It was a stormy night, and a tired taxi driver received a call for a pickup near the old Willow Road intersection. The rain poured relentlessly, blurring the windshield despite the wiper's frantic efforts. Arriving at the dimly lit street, they saw a woman in a silk white dress standing on the roadside. Her hair hung over her face, and she lifted a pale hand to signal him. Reluctantly, he stopped, unlocking the door. Without a word, she slid into the back seat, water dripping from her clothes onto the seat. The smell of wet earth filled the air. The silence of the ride. "Where to, madam?" Ravi asked, glancing at her through the rearview mirror. Her face was obscured by her wet hair, and she remained silent, her gaze fixed straight ahead. Unnerved but not wanting to appear rude, he started driving. The only sounds were the patter of rain on the roof and the soft hum of the engine. He glanced back occasionally, feeling her stare piercing the back of his head. But every time he checked, she was still gazing forward. A mysterious reflection. The road was desolate, the streetlights flickering sporadically. Ravi's eyes darted to the rearview mirror, and for a moment, his breath caught in his throat. Her face was fully visible in the mirror, but something was wrong. Her eyes were hollow voids, and her lips moved as if she were whispering. He whipped his head around to see her directly, but her head was down, her hair hiding her face once more. Panic set in, his heart thumping like a drum. The vanishing voice. "Do you believe in spirits, driver?" Her voice was soft but chilling. Ravi's fingers gripped the steering wheel tighter. "What do you mean, madam?" he stammered, his eyes fixed on the road ahead. "Sometimes people don't realize they're already gone," she replied, her voice echoing unnaturally, as if coming from all directions. A cold draft filled the car, fogging up the windows. The handprint. At a red light, Ravi took a deep breath and glanced back again. She was gone. The back seat was empty, but the seatbelt was wet. The water still dripped from the edge of the other seat. A chill ran down his spine. Then from the corner of his eye, he noticed something in the fogged window. A fresh, wet handprint pressed from the inside. His chest tightened. Call from nowhere. His phone rang, startling him. Fumbling, he answered. "Hello?" No response, only faint static. "Who is this?" he shouted, glancing at the back seat again. Still empty. But from the static, he heard a faint, familiar voice. It was the woman's voice. "You left me behind," she whispered. His heart felt like it would burst from his chest. He threw the phone onto the passenger seat, his breath shallow and fast. The vanishing passenger. Ravi stopped the car on the side of the road, gasping for air. The rain poured harder, thunder rumbling overhead. He wiped the fogged glass with his hand and stared at his reflection, trying to calm down. But behind his reflection, he saw her. She sat right there in the back seat, her hollow eyes staring at him through the glass. His scream was swallowed by the storm as lightning flashed, illuminating her ghastly face. The haunting reminder. The next day, Ravi's boss called him, asking why he'd abandoned his shift. "Are you feeling all right?" the boss asked. "No," Ravi muttered, still shaken. He checked the back seat again. No sign of anyone. But as he reached for the steering wheel, he noticed a small, wet handprint on his window. His heart pounded as a whisper echoed in his ears. "You left me behind."